nation. Hebrew kingdom building.
Yeah, so I gotta. All right, y'all. So this was a very interesting Torah portion. All of y'all read it, so that's a good thing. But it starts right off in chapter 41, going into Pharaoh's dreams. So remember the last Torah portion that started off with basically Yaakov having dreams, and the dreams was basically like, man, your brothers will have, I will have dominion over, over y'all. Basically, y'all gonna bow down to me. You know what I'm saying? And then what we see here is now we got some more dreams going on. So Joseph, he in the beginning, Joseph was 17 years old. So he was young, and he did an evil report on the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah. It said he gave a evil report, which was a dibah. Remember we talked about that? Which means that he slandered them. He didn't tell the whole truth about them. He told on them, but he slandered them. He probably, he probably blew it up. Like, they over there wilding, Dad. They doing everything. They're not keeping the sheep right. They had choked out one of the baby sheep for no reason. And just had them like, what? And so, and Dibah, it has to do with leaving out of the house due to a lack of reverence. Leaving out of exiting the house due to a lack of reverence. Surrounds around slander, and also having little reverence for the door and the house. Todah, y'all on it. Having little reverence for the door and the house. Having little reverence for Yahushua, having little reverence for the leaders, that surrounds around Dibah giving a bad report. That same word is what the children of Israel did when they spied out the land, and it says they gave a bad report. It's that same word. Because they had little reverence for Moshe. They had a lack of reverence. And there was some, listen, y'all, there's some things that Joseph, he just wasn't 100% blameless on. You know what I'm saying? So he was lying, he basically was slandering his brothers. It wasn't all of them, though. This was the sons of Bilhah. So that's another thing. You see what I'm saying? There probably was some sort of thing there that they had against each other, that Joseph had against. Because the people that hated him, the most actually didn't seem like it was the sons of Bilhah. It was like Simeon and them. The ones who was, it was Judah's idea to sell him into slavery. And it seemed like Simeon seemed to be one of the harshest ones on him, and that was one of his main brothers. Well, not his main brother, it was still, it was a blended family. But the brothers from Leah and it might have been because the reason why they were the ones who took the most offense to Joseph is who was the firstborn from Leah? Reuben, and who was next? Y'all see what I'm saying? And Joseph came with this coat of many colors on. Were y'all on the call? Who all was on the call last night? Oh, that's through. It's a good amount this time. That's all right. I'll praise to the Most High. We're going to we're going to recap a little bit on that. But nevertheless, he came, he had that coat of many colors on. And so that probably had the older brothers from Leah like, oh, no, what? Because basically what was happening, listen here, y'all. This is what was happening. Joseph was being chosen to be firstborn. He was being chosen to have the birthright, y'all. This is complicated. Joseph was Yaakov's favorite. That's what the scriptures say, right? Yaakov, he's like, He's my firstborn from Raquel. Hey, that's still, that should work, right? But I submit he was not supposed to have this firstborn, y'all, status. In a sense, he wasn't supposed to have it. This is a generational thing. Remember what happened with Yaakov? What happened to him himself? He was supposed to have the firstborn, not Esau, but what did his father want? His father wanted Esau to have the firstborn status. Y'all see how this generational thing been happening? What about Abraham? Y'all know Abraham wanted Ishmael to get the firstborn. Did y'all know that? Y'all remember when we read it and you was telling the Most High, if it could just would it be through if it just be Ishmael, Oh no, I'm gonna bring you somebody from somebody's gonna come from, Sarah. If it was up to Abraham, Ishmael would have had the firstborn. He loved Ishmael. That was his son. You know what I'm saying? So there was this generational thing going on. So now we got a generational consistency, I should call it. Now you got Joseph. Now you got Yaakov. He has 12 children, and Joseph is his favorite. That's who he wants to have the firstborn. So he gives Joseph the coat of many colors. Okay? All right. So let's recap this. So, because about 30% of y'all saw last night, so that's through though. That's pretty through. But let's just this is something we were talking about last night on the prep day call. So, about a week ago, I feel low. Yeah. Oh, you got it? Okay. Testing. We through now? That sound better. Yeah, hold on. So, about a week ago, roughly, I was in prayer. I was in the prayer closet. I was praying, and then the Most High put. I went into this vision, and I was going up, like rising up, like fly, like it wasn't even flying. It was just like going upward, like levitating, I guess. It's going upward, and it was just all these colors just wrapped around me. It was like streams of colors as I was going up, and it was just wrapped around, just all these streams of colors. There was nothing. It was like I was covered by the colors. I didn't have anything on under that. It was just the colors was covering me. You know what I'm saying? And I was just stretched out, and I was rising up at the same time. And the Most High gave me the understanding pretty quickly. It was about being clothed with light. It's about being clothed with light. So what we were talking about last night is Adam and Kawah were clothed with light. Adam and Kawah were clothed with light. We talked about that a while ago as far as dealing with when it's, oh man, let me see something here. Gonna be hard to explain right there. You know what I'm saying? Let's see something real quick. Oh man, I don't got it on here. All right, but nevertheless, so the Hebrew word for when it says that Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed. That word naked, we talked about this before. That word naked is arom. It's Aleph, Resh, Uah, Mem. Let me see something real quick, man. All right, so that's the Hebrew word for arom, okay? Aleph, Resh, Uah, Mem, Todaim. So the Hebrew word for light is Aleph, Uah, Resh. So y'all see the light is in there. The Hebrew word for skin is Ayin, Uah, Resh. You see what I'm saying? So skin is associated with light, and it says in Bereshit 3, it says that Yahuwah gave Adam and Kawah a ketonet or, a coat of skin, but it says ketonet or. See what I'm saying? So you can even look at it in a sense, kind of in a sense, as a coat or a garment of light. You get what I'm saying? Because or, the Hebrew word for skin, is closely related to the Hebrew word for light. Okay? All right. So, being clothed with light is, it's like So it's almost like Adam and Kawah were clothed with light. Then you go into the story about Noah, and Yahuwah made a covenant with Noah. And the covenant was with a rainbow. The covenant was a rainbow. You see what I'm saying? The covenant was surrounding a rainbow, which is so. Because when I heard about clothed with light, I always thought white light. But actually, I submit no. See, light has all these different spectrums and different, different colors it will bring forth as well. That's another aspect of light. Even when we look at colors, it's basically the way it looks when light reflects off of it. This is something that Yahuwah does, you know what I'm saying? He created colors for beauty and kabod. See what I'm saying? That's why even his creation, like when you look at the spring, the wildflowers and things like that, it's full of different colors. Go to Matthew chapter 6, Matthew chapter 6. Yeah, let's start with verse 25. Bakir Lu, read verse 25 through 30. Just go 25 through 34. Just
So,
25 down, yeah.
All right. Everybody there? Therefore, I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them.
How are the birds covered? Aren't birds clothed with different colors? Mm-hmm. All right, keep going.
Are you not of more value than they?
See, all the animal kingdom, they're pretty much clothed by the Most High. He gives them their clothes. Mm. We one of the only people that has to clothe ourselves and cover ourselves in creation. Verse 27.
Which of you, by worrying, can add 1 cubit to his stature? So why do you worry about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin.
Look at this.
And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
You see this? And how are the lilies in the field? How are the flowers? They're full of colors, different colors. And Yahusha was like, even Solomon and all his kavod wasn't arrayed like the lilies of the field, though. And y'all know Solomon was clothed with light. Let's just say that. That's what we was talking about. Well, when you read about Solomon, you read, he had grills, he had gold, he had jewelry. He was clothed with light. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 30. Now, if Yahuwah so clothes the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? Therefore, do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For after all these things the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble.
It's about letting Yahuwah cover. Let Yahuwah cover you. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Noah, it was this covenant Yahuwah made with him, and it was the rainbow, which is this spectrum of colors. Then you go, and then you have Yosef with this coat of many colors, y'all, which I submit is about this garment of light, y'all. That's what the coat of many colors symbolizes, the garment of light that was originally given to Adam. Doesn't mean it's the exact same one, but it's the Adam was the first one to get the garment of light. You see what I'm saying? So they probably were covered in light before they sinned. They probably were covered in light before they sinned, which is probably why the Hebrew word for skin is almost the same word for light. And which is probably why the Hebrew word for naked is very close to the Hebrew word for light. See what I'm saying? That the original people were clothed by Yahuwah and clothed by light. But what happened is when they sinned, all of a sudden happened because all of a sudden they're like, oh snap, they were trying to cover themselves. So what that shows is that something happened. That either maybe their eyes changed and now they can see they they're exposed, or maybe something literally changed off of their body to where they could see that they exposed. You see what I'm saying? And they're like, oh snap, I need to cover myself now, man. Hold on, this is crazy, And they got the fig leaves. When they decided to sin, it's like the Most High, that garment of light's no longer there. And so then Yahuwah, the scriptures say that Yahuwah made him a ketonet or a tunic of skin. And I always automatically thought of that as, oh, he probably puts like a sheepskin, maybe it's just a brown skin, leather, coat, just this brown coat on him. You see what I'm saying? But now I'm like, nah, that probably was a coat of many colors because it was to replace that garment of light that they originally had. See what I'm saying? So Yahuwah probably gave him this ketonet or this garment of light. And Yahuwah, this came from, Yahuwah made this garment. This wasn't made by somebody who knew how to make clothes, somebody who was cold at sewing. This was a garment created by Yahuwah, so it probably had some supernatural features to it. You see what I'm saying? It probably has some supernatural aspects to it. This is a garment literally coming from the Shamayim, like literally coming from Yahuwah. And so, keeping that in mind, they would have held that in very high regard. Adam probably passed that garment down. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking last night, I was like, man, I don't even know if I'll be wearing that. I had that in a case. A garment straight from Yahuwah? And that mug will be in the case. I maybe pull that thing out maybe once a year or something. So, I don't want nobody to spill nothing on it, man. I don't want because there ain't no other time that I can think of where there was a garment made straight from the Most High. No, he'll put his ruach on the others though, that'll be cold at sewing, and do stuff like that. But no, this was a special this a ketonet or. That mug probably had kavod shining all on that thing. We thought it was just a brown skin that he put on. That mug probably was shining. Man, that mug was probably crazy. And this is why I say that, because I submit that's the significance of the coat of many colors that Yosef had. That's what I submit Yaakov was either trying to imitate with the coat of many colors, or it could have even been the ancestral coat. It could have possibly been the ancestral coat, because y'all know they would have held that in high regard. They would have did everything they could to preserve that coat. Would have went down to Noach. Come on now. Straight from Yahuwah. Oh man, whoever was the firstborn, hey man, this is part of the inheritance, man. This is the original coat. Now you make sure you take care of this, man. It's the original coat. When we had messed up, the Most High gave made for us. He pulled out, it's in a case. That mug in a safe. You can hear the Malakim singing when he grabbed that case. Ah. That mug got some old precious stones connected to that coat that you can't even find nowhere. They just from the Shamayim. That mug blinging more than any diamond you can get. Shining. Have some supernatural Shamayim jewels in that mug, boy. Because a lot of precious stones, they do believe it came from asteroids. They came from the Shamayim. There's nowhere here that they like originate. Like I believe gold. Yeah, I believe gold is from that. They don't believe it don't originate. No, it came from asteroids. But there's other, definitely silver, but there's other ones too, like certain metals and it's interesting because these are the metals that a lot of the more supernatural stuff is made from, as far as like computers, things like that. When you think about like some of these metals, like coltan, certain things like that. A lot of that stuff is from asteroids. That didn't originate here, and that's why it's so expensive. So man, that mug probably has some stuff you can't. Man, that stuff is from some other planet or something. They had jewels in that mug, and they would pass it on. Pass it on. That's very possible. But it would be messed up if that was what it was, because man, his brothers, man, they took that coat, man, they tore that mug up and put. So that would be messed up if that was the case, because they brothers just did whatever they did with it. But they put blood on it. They gave it to. They still gave it to Yaakov. Yaakov goes, oh no, man, let me fix this. I don't know. But nevertheless, he at least imitated that to have that symbolism of the garment of light. Because he's saying that Yaakov, you have the birthright. Now y'all see why they were so mad when Yaakov had that coat? Yeah, I bet they made a through point last night, though. And she was like, man, that coat probably was in that case. For years, they trying to see who's going to get the coat. Who's going to get the coat of many colors. They probably knew about that coat since they was born. Had that coat, man. Ancestral coat. Then they gave it to Yosef. Like, what? Oh, no, he got to go. He got to go. The Lord make you so hot, you gonna kill your brother? Like, what? The Lord make you on that level? That coat of many colors was everything, y'all. That was the garment of light. He was going to get all the inheritance of Abraham. He was going to get all the inheritance of Yaakov, and Yaakov was very rich. He was going to get a double portion of the inheritance, and basically, he's supposed to be the one to carry on and continue, you know what I'm saying? Continue to see. But I just don't think that was the Most High's will, because it didn't really play out that way at the end. That was Yaakov's will, because Yaakov loved Yosef. He was the son of his old age. So it's similar to Esau and all those things like that. Because there was just some things about Yosef that wasn't 100, man. He was lying on his brothers. He had that role. He was the youngest, but he wasn't being 100. He wasn't blameless. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. So also, the garment of the priest. The garment of the priest. The priestly garments was a garment of light. And you notice that it was multicolors. Each jewel represented one of the tribes of Yasharel. See, the garment of light is about the sons of light. See, the sons of light ought to be clothed with light. When you, the garment of the high priest was a coat of many colors. It was called a ketonet, the same word was used for the garment that was given to Adam. The same word that was named for the garment that was Hebrew word that was given to Joseph, ketonet, was also given to the high priest. And if you read the details in Exodus 28 on the priestly garments, it was a garment of light. Y'all, we talked about this so many years. We've been talking about this since like 2018. We covered that part of the Torah portion in Shemot, but like, man, like the priestly garments was full of kavod. It was made, literally, Yahuwah said, he made these garments for kavod and beauty. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was about, Imayasha, I'm going to use Imayasha's quote. She had said that's probably about $1 million on the chair. I was thinking hundreds of thousands, but it could be up to millions of today's money that the high priest had on his chest. These jewels and this breastplate was made by Bezalel, who Yahuwah bestowed upon him a ruach of wisdom. He was skilled more than anybody else. So you can imagine these jewels I'm talking about clean cut. I mean precision cut, y'all. Like just think about the most precision cut diamonds you could think of. And they had 12 of them and they was big too, boy. And then solid gold behind that mug. Man, even the sun shining on that mug, boy, you could, man. That was a garment of light, for real. You could probably see that from far away. Not only that, the cloth part of the garment, Yahuwah had it to where it was gold thread used to make the cloth part of the garment. So it was linen, but then it was mixed with real gold, which no one can do that in today's day. No one has that skill to make thread out of real gold. So that was a supernatural garment in and of itself. So if the high priest garment was on that level, can you imagine the one that Yahuwah made for Adam? That mother probably was crazy. And Yahusha is the high priest in the Shamayim. That's why when you go to Revelation, it talks about how Yahusha just had this crazy garment. I think it's in Revelation 1. Somebody brought it out last night. But man, he had a crazy garment. I think that was Kendrick Lamar Richardson brought that mug out. Man, we finna go there. Yeah, we gotta go there. We just got to, because I know it's in Revelation 1 somewhere, so we're running pretty fast. But man, he had this cold garment on, and he had a cold breastplate on. 113 total. Revelation 1:13. It says, and in the midst of the 7 lampstands, that's the menorahs. That's a whole nother thing right there, but we ain't gonna get into that. We talked about that last night, though, as far as the watchman. The watchman is associated with the sons of light. But, all right, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 lampstands, one like the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the feet and girded about the chest with a golden band. Like he was clean. You see what I'm saying? Yahusha had on garments, y'all. He was coming in great kavod. You know why? Because Yahusha is the high priest in the Shamayim, in the order of Melchizedek. All right. So Joseph, keeping all that in mind, so he did that. He lied on his brothers. Yaakov gave him the coat of many colors. That just made his brothers just hate him way more after that. They was just done. Well, really, it was after the dreams, actually. That's what did it. The dreams is what did it. They put the icing on it. Because, come on, if y'all know Yosef was already lying on him, you know when Yosef told him them dreams, it probably wasn't like, no, oh, yeah, I just had a dream. I don't know what it means. I just wanted to see if you knew. Nah, he probably was like, yeah. So, yeah, I had a dream. And this is what the dream was. Yeah, y'all going to be bowing down to me. Hey, it ain't. That's what the Most High said. I ain't say that. They probably like, man, y'all know how the camps be when they be they be yelling at the other nations. Yeah, the Most High said y'all gonna be in captivity. Y'all gonna be in captivity. Yeah, Joseph was probably doing that. Yeah, y'all finna be bound down to me. Whatever. He probably kept reminding them too. Every time they had something to say, oh, now y'all remember them dreams? All right. Y'all finna be submitting to me. Y'all might as well start bowing down now. I don't know. Like, what? Man, we got to get him, man. We got to get him. Y'all see I got the coat of many colors, don't you? Do I need to go to dad again? I'm just saying, though. They probably like, man, we got to get him. This is it. And you know that's what happened, because what happened when he went into captivity? The first thing that happened is that a female came and started lying on him, didn't she? That's the first thing that happened. He went into captivity. He wasn't doing nothing. And this female kept trying to holler at him, right? Y'all remember chapter 39? Because we didn't cover it last week, but we all read the Torah portion. The scripture says she kept trying to get at him. She kept trying to get at him. He was like, no, I'm not finna do that. And then I guess she was mad because she probably couldn't understand how he would pass up on her. Because, again, she probably was beautiful. This is the wife of a nobleman. And so she got offended, man. She lied on him. Yeah, no, he tried this. And she said, you know what she said? Yeah, you brought this Hebrew dude in here to mock us. He been mocking us. Ain't that wild? He been mocking us. And he tried to take it. He tried to come and lay with me, and I screamed, and then he ran. She was trying to get him killed. But, we talked about this before. I don't think he really believed her, because he would have killed her if he would have believed her. Y'all, come on. This was a nobleman of Mitzrayim, and this is a slave? You try to lay with your wife? Oh, no, he would have got put to death quick. They didn't care about nothing. In Mitzrayim, they put the people to death quick like it ain't nothing. That's normal. And this is one of the noblemen of Pharaoh. He probably done been responsible for a lot of deaths. He didn't care about that. So if he believed his wife like that, Joseph would have been gone. But Joseph was so he probably knew his wife. You know what I'm saying? He knew it, and he knew Joseph. Again, these dudes are not dumb. These are noblemen. These are people who are very high ranked. They not dummies. He's like, right. But what I'm saying is, he knew he had enough discernment to where he had Joseph over his whole house. Who gonna do that? Who gonna trust that? Unless you know this is a trustworthy dude. Come on. Come on, man. He like, Joseph? Like, nah. And Joseph was a virgin, so come on. You can tell when somebody, come on, Joseph. Was somebody a virgin? Oh, he came and tried to take it. Nah. Nah. But he had to do something because, but everybody sees it. Everybody, So he did he put him in the jail. Then he went in the jail and was over everything, though. You know what I'm saying? So that actually was grace. Yeah, like Ema was saying, the Most High covered him in that situation. But this is another thing. That's the power of submission and moving in integrity of heart. If he wasn't blameless, he couldn't, man, that would have been it. But he didn't have no breach nowhere because he kept his integrity of heart and he stayed submitted. And so that saved his life. That's the power of submission, y'all. For real. All right. So then we get into that. Joseph, now he was dealing with being lied on. Then the situation comes up where now he's locked up. Now he's in a dungeon now. At first he was like the house slave, man. Now but he was so faithful and so submitted, man. They had him over everything in the jail. The favor of Yahuwah. And the dreams came up. So they told him the dreams. And he asked the dude, he said, hey, I ain't even supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? I got dudes did me wrong. They lied on this girl, lied on me. Hey, please don't forget me when you don't forget me when you go out there. And the dude forgot him. He just went on about his business. That's how people be done. Even though he interpreted the dreams for him. So now we segue into this Torah portion where now the Pharaoh is having these dreams. It's about famine. It's about feast and famine in a sense. That everything is going to be all through, but then there's going to be this major famine that's going to trump the through. It's going to be so bad, you're going to forget about the through, them through years, you're going to forget about it because the famine going to be so bad. So that's because remember the lean cows, it said the ugly, and the New King James said, man, them cows were so ugly. But in the Hebrew, it says evil in appearance, evil form, ra in form and appearance. So I guess ugly biblically is someone who is raw in appearance and form, evil. If you like a demon, something like that. That's what biblically would be ugly when you see a demon contorting and those looks. They be maybe that would be more like it's a raw. That's probably how those cows looked. You know what I'm saying? They were raw, evil in appearance and in form. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we have this thing of deception, y'all. We have this thing of deception. And so Pharaoh's looking for somebody who can interpret these dreams. Nobody can figure out this dream. And finally the chief butler, the Roach butler, he was like, oh yeah, man, I forgot, there's this ox that was locked up with me. He could interpret dreams. He interpreted my dream. He said, everything he said was gonna happen. It happened. It came true. The dude that got hung, and then I got lifted up. Man, he was right. He know what he's doing. He said, all right, go get him. We'll see. And then Joseph came in and interpreted the dream, right? So now we have this whole scenario where, listen, this is why submission is important. This is why integrity of heart is important. Because, think about it. Pharaoh lifted Joseph up and said, no, I'm going to lift you up over everybody. He even gave Joseph the signet ring. That means he gave his authority to him. Remember, that's the breakdown for deceiver or crafty or deceiver, crafty. It also could mean conspiracy or conspire. But it's about deceit giving away its authority. Who just said that? You said that? Yeah, you on it. It's about the seed giving away its authority, or the seed receiving authority, trying to get more authority, in a sense, trying to have more authority. People will start deceiving when they want to have more authority, when they want to move up, when they, and things like that. When the serpent in the garden deceived Eve, it was because, y'all ever wondered why, y'all never asked why did the serpent try to deceive Eve? It was because he was trying to get Eve to give over that authority. Yes, Simca's on it. That's what it was about. It was about authority. When he knew that, the serpent knew that if he could get Adam and Hawa to sin, that would give authority over the authority that Adam and Hawa had. They won't have it no more. They'll give away their authority over to the marine kingdom. That they'll get kicked out of their office, in a sense. You see what I'm saying? So the serpent's goal was to get them to sin. That's why Balaam's sin was so big. That's why the doctrine of Balaam was so big. Y'all remember the Balaam and Balak in the book of Numbers? And remember, Balaam was the sorcerer, and he was trying to get. They couldn't curse Yasharel while they were blameless. He had to get them. He knew he had advised the Balak, the king, just get them to sin. If you get them to sin, they're going to give up their authority. And that's what happened. Because they sinned, all of them didn't make it in the promised land. I think it was like thousands, 24,000, I believe, that didn't make it. They got cut down. All right, so with that being said, you have this situation where the signet ring was given to Joseph. The authority was given to Joseph. He was lifted up. He's 30 years old now. Remember the number 30? That's the Lamed, the shepherd, the instruction, the authority. That's what the Lamed means, is authority, right? He was given the authority at 30. And that's the number for the Lamed, is number 30. What's the number for the Noon? Anybody know? Is that 10? No, it's 50. Yeah. So 50, 80. Oh, snap, that's 100. Right? Because that's 20. Yeah, 50, 80, 100. So that's interesting that Nakal is number 100. It's very interesting. But nevertheless, so now this situation is coming up. It's like, okay, we're going to read this part. I know y'all read the Torah portion, but we're going to read this part, Ms. Sparkle. Go to chapter 40. I think it's 42. Yeah, this is it. All right, so this is the situation that's very interesting. Let's look at it. Bereshit 42.
Want to start at verse 1?
Yes, sir.
Everybody there? All right. When Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, Jacob said to his sons, "Why do you look at one another?" And he said, "Indeed, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy for us there, that we may live and not die."
All right, so this is really interesting, y'all. There's some generational stuff happening, okay? So remember what happened when Yahuwah told Abraham to leave his land and to go to Canaan. He went to Canaan, and what happened?
There was a famine.
Remember? Did y'all hear her?
There was a famine.
When Abraham first left, he took Lot with him. He was following Yahuwah. He was doing what Yahuwah said, and a famine hit the land, right? And then Abraham did what? Went to Mitzrayim. He went to Egypt. So this is a generational thing that's happening, because then Isaac was born and he was tempted to go to Egypt, but Yahuwah told him not to go when there was a famine that hit the land, so he didn't go. But then now, this is Jacob's situation, and another famine is hitting the land again, and he's going to Egypt. Man, I heard there was grain in Egypt. He's doing just like Abraham, and it's almost every time. You know, when Abraham went to Egypt, it was just all kind of issues, right? You know, they ended up taking his Isha. He had to tell him not, you're my sister. He had to deal with all those things like that. So it was a lot of stuff that happened. And so as we see, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this time as well. So they go to Egypt. Look, keep going.
Verse 3, so Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, "Lest some calamity befall him." And the sons of Israel went to buy grain among those who journeyed, for the famine in the land of Canaan. So yes, now Joseph was governor over the land. And it was he who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down.
He was the ark, y'all. Keep going.
And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him in their faces to the earth.
See, that was it. The fulfillment of the dream is happening. And it was like Joseph had to go through what he needed to go through in order to be able to handle the role that he was in. Because he was already prophesied and destined to have this role, but then the Most High had to take him through what he had to go through in order for him to be ready for the role, to be the leader of the world in a sense. Like the Most High will give you the vision, he'll show you what he's gonna have you. Like some of y'all, he's like, okay, he's showing y'all, okay, you're gonna be married. I'm gonna give you a Isha. He's showing some of y'all, I'm gonna give you a husband. And you're like, oh, praise to the Most High. He ain't gonna give you that till you're ready though, and he's gonna put you through some things to make you ready. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be on that level like Joseph to where you ready to submit to whatever you got to go through to be ready for what Yahuwah has for you. We got Dakota many colors. There's a lot of things that's coming, y'all, to this nation. A lot of things. So because of that, there's certain things that we have to go through in order to be able to handle it when it comes. That's why so much stuff had to happen the way that it's happening. You see what I'm saying? But it's just about submitting to it and trusting Yahuwah. Trusting the process, knowing that he has your through, that is for your through. You want a husband, you talking about the Most High said that he gonna give you a husband, but you still dealing with trust issues. You still dealing with unforgiveness for certain situations, bitterness. You still have issues with submission. You still have, you know what I'm saying? What do you think gonna happen? The Most High is gonna get you. I mean, you're gonna go through what you need to go through so that you'll be ready. It don't mean that you got to be perfect, but at the same time, you got to trust that he knows when you're ready. You see what I'm saying? And he knows what you need to do. Yeah, what Joseph went through was tough, man. That was, man. But it's like the Most High knew what he needed. He ended up being a Thub leader. He wasn't perfect, but he ended up being Thub. Same thing with King David. Melech Dawid, y'all know what he went through? Melech Dawid, he was a youngster like Joseph. He probably was about the same age, about 17 when he first killed Goliath. And then King Saul was like his mentor. He looked up to King Saul. Could y'all imagine that? Your leader. King Saul was his leader. Raised him up to be basically his right-hand man. They would go out to war knocking down the enemies together. Bow, bow, yeah, with the swords, yeah, cutting down the enemies together. And then all of a sudden, this one day, the females were singing, Saul killed his thousands, but David kills his tens of thousands. That's probably the word for myriads, probably. Probably was saying, David's killing the multitudes, though. And Saul like, wait, hold on. I discovered him. Nah, he's, what? And next thing you know, the person that David was looking up to, his mentor, is gunning for him now, trying to cut his head off. And so now he got to be on the run. It's to the point where he don't know what he gonna eat some days. How he gonna eat, he don't know what he gonna do. He out there homeless, y'all, for real. Y'all don't really realize what David went through, man. Saul painted a picture like David was this wicked person. He made Saul Israel's most wanted. Remember, Saul is king. Think about if like Jim Crow Joe, it's a different president now, huh? Oh, a few more months. Joe Biden was like, hey, this dude is armed and dangerous. He's armed and dangerous. He's a threat. He's a threat. What they be saying? he's a threat to not threat to society. Oh, somebody about to say it. Say it. That's it. You asked me, dog. He's a threat to national security. This is a national security issue. He's armed and dangerous. They'll have most wanted signs everywhere. If anybody sees, they'll have videos of him and all that. If anybody sees him, do what you need to do. There's $1 million bounty if anybody can catch him. $1 million bounty. I mean, they probably, man, y'all gotta understand. This is David. He had the whole nation after him because the king wanted his head. So he had to be on the run. He had to flee Israel. He had to go and live with the Philistines for some times. He dealt with so much, y'all. But do y'all know? Y'all know when that started happening? When it was prophesied that he would be king. For real. Did y'all know that? Y'all know the story of David? Saul, the prophet Samuel, anointed him to be the next king when he was a young, and he was just keeping the sheep. He was young. He didn't know, he probably wasn't thinking about that. And then after that was when the David and Goliath thing happened. So that seemed like he was moving forward. All praise to the Most High. See? Told y'all, man, he's anointed to be king. It's the next king. And then boom, everything went left. Everything. The state David was in by how Nabal acted when he came about David. Oh yeah, servants, they run away from their masters all the time. It was like he was like a thug to Israel. He was like a criminal, y'all. That's how they looked at him. So it didn't seem like there was no way he could be king one day. After that, it didn't seem like there was no possible way he could be king one day. But he remained blameless through all of that. He didn't even kill Saul when you're talking about an expert warrior. He could have easily cut Saul's head off. He had multiple times. There was a time where he was trying to show Saul, man, Saul, I'm cool with you. See, I could have killed you. Here's your shirt right here. I could have killed you. We cool. What's wrong? Why are you after me? And Saul was just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we gonna get you. All right. Because he was, Saul was filled with all these unclean, he was filled with ruachs. The scriptures say that the Most High started sending these unclean ruachs on him. So he was done. His heart was hardened. He didn't care. David was trying to do everything to try to, but can you imagine that the person you looked up to like that is just hates you. And he still stayed blameless though, because if he would have killed Saul, there was no way he would have been able to be king. That just would have did it. It would have been over. It would have just been over. It would have had to be like, the Most High would have had to do like some serious miracle. You know what I'm saying? But because he stayed blameless, when the time came, David was able to be king, and he ended up being probably the best leader other than Yahusha that we've ever had. He had multiple near-death experiences. It was a time when it looked like he was surrounded, it looked like they was going to get him, and he was able to get away, all kind of stuff. But going through what you got to go through to get where Yahuwah has you to be. The coat of many colors, the garments of light.
Rebirth of a nation. Hebrew kingdom building.